in case you are joining us, this is Voice of Siga Live, and I'm Soccer Charles, and the show itself is Voice of Siga Political Bench Show. It is about SIGA, and the guest seated here is Mr. Tim Sitweti. He is a political activist in this country, and of course we shall be having a conversation right away, and without wasting time, let's get to talk.
Yes.
Welcome, Kiongozi.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Welcome to Voice of Siga once again.
Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. You can look at the camera and introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. My name's Tim Sitweti Wanyonyi. Yes, I'm a political activist. And I think that is my introduction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about activism. You know, when people get to hear about a political activist, what should they understand?
Activism is not it's not a professional, but it's just like a passion. Like you can decide to say because you believe in something. This like activism is just believing in something and you want to drive it. Like so, as far as politics is concerned, I'm a political activist. I believe. You see, in this country we have a lot of crises, but majority and much of them actually it is touching politics. That's why when you make politics political arrangement right, actually there's a thin line in every sector. Yeah.
And there is, they say that many political activists they do that, or rather they get to work in that occupation for the sake of building a ground so that they can also face the political careers. Is it true?
Okay, it is just like 50-50. You see, like for me, yes, maybe I had that dream, maybe to be a political leader in the future. But we must ensure that we are building we must ensure that we are ensuring that our country, it is on the right trajectory. It is politically and economically, it is actually in the right upward trajectory. That's why I am not in the activism to gain mileage or as you have said, but I'm in activism to ensure that at least the voice of voiceless are heard, and actually to be in a position where to raise critical concern as far as politics and youth affairs are concerned. Yes.
Raila Amolo Odinga
is
the former Prime Minister of Kenya. He was once a man of his own words when he would say words and people will believe. But nowadays, people are like, they are saying that he's camouflaging because he's going for his own interest instead of representing people. And these very statements that I've just articulated were today said by the former, Deputy President of Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua.
Yes.
So, is that true?
Well, you see, a person like Raila Odinga, traditionally, but before I actually speak about Raila Odinga, traditionally, mostly politics in this country, it actually perceived to be interest. Okay, like when you enter in politics, you must also base actually on your interest, whether it's business, whether it's your interest like your children or getting some things. But for the case of Raila Odinga, his contribution in this country, it is really immense and it's really measurable. We can measure to say that this Mzee has done the best. Me, since I started voting, I think I'll be voting for the third time, 2027. I've never voted for Raila. In fact, I have never actually convinced with his policies. But his, they say, Mugala muwe lakini haki umpe. So this Mzee actually has really contributed in the building of many things. You see, he has been a person who has been pushing more changes. When you want to change something, you need to create a point of reference. And the point of reference in this country is the constitution. And this Mzee has been always pushing for constitution amendment and even promulgation. You see, 2010, he played a very serious role in ensuring that constitution is promulgated. And actually, you saw that the Kofi Annan thing came in and we changed the constitution. But that constitution actually, sincerely speaking, it has many faults, because you see these units that have been come with it. We talk about county and these small units like ward. You see, people are now seeing those maendeleo, those development on the ground. So Mzee Raila has done his best, but when sometimes not everyone is perfect. Raila has done his part, like bring those. But personally, I can say somehow his interest in most of the time comes first. So just politics, and that's how it is. So to judge him like he's a bad person, I feel
will
like
be wrong.
It will be being unfair for him. Yes.
Then maybe you can also tell us, there are right now, there are very many political activists that have risen to occasion. For instance, we talk of Makure. I guess you know him.
Yes.
So tell us, is this the real Kenya we want, or rather the fake Kenya? You know, people like Makure could be faking just because they want something at the end, only that they are coming in the name of they are political activists. So tell us, are they really of great impact to Kenya or not?
Activism, most of the time, in fact, most changes in this country has brought by this activist. Talk of this Iron lady like what's the name, Mother Karua. Talk of Martin Shikuku, James Orengo. Those are activists who were serious. You saw, I was actually, when we were, perusing those history papers, we realized that I came across a book somewhere when James Orengo was saying every time we were actually entering or we are going to protest, to demonstrate, we were wearing sweaters, because we knew very well that we are going to be tortured. So the activism that they brought, actually they fully participated in, actually I'm sure that it brought fruits. But if you are serious in activism, I think the main agenda of activism must be a positive agenda, must be a positive impact to the society. But if we have those who are actually entering activism just to be seen, maybe to be elected somewhere, how in future, maybe for their interest, I don't know. But what I believe that activism, it is an opportunity for you to defend, to raise the voice, to actually fully represent the voice of voiceless in the society.
And who has been mentoring you in this political area?
Okay, well, me personally, I can tell you for free that I've been actually somehow molding myself and actually being inspired by some. I have many role models. I was expecting you to ask me who is your role model.
yeah, you can proceed and
okay,
just
well, my role model, I have many of them. But I have many of them, but I have one of them is of course William Ruto. And again, I have one who just joined politics the other day, but is doing well politically, the senator for Migori. He's called Okech. Eddie Okech is a senator that I really admire his way of doing politics. I also have people like Jeremiah Kiodi. I love the way they do things. I have many. Yes.
And what can you say regarding the greatest activist ever to ever live, by the name Martin Luther? He started also as an activist.
Yes.
And he greatly changed the world. Not only Kenya knows him, but the entire world. So can we also have such like leaders in the future, or such like leaders died and they will never resurrect or come back to life?
You know, what dies is just a spirit, the body, but spirit is always there. You realize that if, in fact, maybe the spirit that I have, maybe I'm driving now, it is not a spirit, it is not made mine. Maybe I'm driving a spirit which was somebody who died long ago. But because that spirit, it is just inside me. It's all about spirit. And I can tell you, in fact, for example, you can ask yourself, who expected in this country, Kenya, now, this sort of revolution we are actually experiencing now? Like, you feel like the group called Gen Zs, they come, they bring a lot of changes, you know, a strong, you feel like, what is this? Just
Political mayhem.
That is a spirit. It comes with some force. So it's all, I feel like these things are going to be there. And maybe because, you know, leaders also actually, the current leaders maybe affect some people who actually, maybe they see you actually coming out, they come with that attempt of bribing you, maybe to stop doing that. So it also affects. But I can assure you that activism, for example, activism in me, it is not going to die in the near future.
It won't.
Maybe if my memory is not serving me right.
And we want to see the impact of activism.
Yes.
Because right now many youth are suffering. They are like, we don't have employment. We are graduates, but nobody has offered us with any job to work. So what is the effect of activism when people are still struggling in the streets looking for jobs, when there is still corruption and you are fighting for corruption, when leaders are still embezzling our funds and you are fighting for it? So shall you people fight and fight and fight, but there is no change?
You see, you cannot just fight blindly. You must have an alternative. Say, for example, you're saying that you people, maybe William Ruto, you're not doing this. But William Ruto is also a human being. What are alternative you are coming with? What are you bringing on the table to ensure that maybe there is an alternative, okay, for you as an activist? Which alternative are you bringing, like, as far as employment is concerned? So one is that you see, like, youth now, youth in this country, we are the productive member of the society.
True.
And for you to thrive as a country, you must invest in the productive member. These are energetic group that has that, you know, some of them, they are schooled, they have papers, and they have skills. So if we invest more in youth, like, you know, in this country, we are personally, I propose, like, we have a ministry, just a full ministry of youth. Not like actually compounding it together with the sports and culture. No, a youth ministry that is going just to deal with and to be well funded like any other ministry. And we are going to employ youth there to make policies that are going to ensure that youth are going to get employment. So I think that is one of the alternatives that I have personally as an activist. And two, the government also must look into that issue very well. But I want to actually maybe somehow to applaud the government of President William Ruto. Actually, it has tried it, although the people are crying that their payslip have been actually pressed more, but somehow it has actually, you know, that job employment, it has capped some loopholes as far as youth, still youth are concerned. Because we realize that this housing thing, people are actually pelting a lot of stones about it. But I feel like it has actually, you know, in that sector, you know, it's not just only building, but we have a variety of people in that sector who, like, when we have doctors, people who actually went to school and studied actually to treat people. Like we have in these mijengos, people can be injured and they can be treated by those people who are charged with that responsibility of treating them. We have architects, we have QS, we have civil engineering like me. We can actually, there's a lot of variety. And also we have those business people, maybe selling cement and those chumas and all that. So actually it has boosted that. But they came with another issue of actually exporting labor.
Yeah.
But in this country, the problem we are facing, it's people actually engaging in scandal, using others. So that's a problem that we have. Corruption. If we end corruption in this country, I think we shall go far.
So you mean corruption is the greatest disease affecting Kenya?
An elephant in the room. If this country, Kenya is among the richest country in Africa.
Yeah.
If the resources within it is well managed. But because of corruption, we happen to be like, seem to be very poor. Because those people we actually trusting with powers, they're actually enriching themselves and forgetting those who place them there.
Our forefathers fought against corruption. We have also fought against corruption. Now the question is, how shall we end this corruption?
Corruption, you see, me, like, I have that mind of activism. And for example, if you ask me, like, for example, now, when you are a president, I can go the China way. We hang those people. Any person who actually try to make mouse, we actually come with that attempt. Actually, it will reduce. Or these people, or these agencies, maybe I don't want to be that murderer. Maybe people might perceive me that. But we can say we have those agencies that have been charged with the responsibility of dealing with corruption. In this country, we have things like EACC. But EACC nowadays, they are being used to manage politics. Like, for example, of late you saw this leader called Natembeya was arrested. But when the court asked for those papers, evidence, there were no evidence, which means there were some directives from above to just intimidate and actually coerce the institute, which is very independent.
And do you think Natembeya was to fall in the trap that maybe the government had set for him? Because people are saying that this was political. For the cases that he was charged of, for instance, corruption, he was not to be mentioned in that case. So, is the matter true that Natembeya was innocent?
Of course, Natembeya was innocent.
He was innocent?
Yes, he was innocent. Because when a person is, we are living in a country where it is run with the rule of law. And when, for example, I arrest you, as I'm a police officer, I arrest you, I need also to follow the constitution, how it is said in the constitution, how it's said in the rules of law. Like, I need to arrest you, to take you somewhere, and if you go a certain process, like evidence is the key. We need to follow the evidence, and if the evidence is not there, then the matter seems to be nothing. So, in the case of Natembeya, I feel personally it was political. Yeah.
It was political.
Yeah.
Now, before we get to our second part of our discussion, maybe can you tell us, Kenya has very, very many leaders who are potential. Some have risen as activists, some are just mere political contenders in different positions.
Yes.
So, how can we feel that in this Kenya there are those political activists who are really active to make sure that the matters they get to arise are also attended to? Because we don't just want to hear voices on the roads or other people rioting saying, this government is bad, but there is no aftermath whereby we want now to see, we have talked about this, let it be done. So, where are those leaders?
It's all about structuring. Yeah? For example, if you want to actually propose something, you can come with an alternative, maybe in a newspaper. You actually, for example, this channel of yours is doing well. I can, the way I'm doing now, because you're going to publish it. It goes out there. You structure something. Say, for example, I feel like you are not doing this right. let's find an alternative. And where is that alternative? I have it. It's this one. I have this alternative. I have this alternative. As the government, people, ministries, ministers, CSS follow this trajectory, and actually we are going to achieve what we want. But if we are just making noise without alternative, and then it's just me and this. Yeah. So I feel like maybe we come together as young people and feel like, what is it they're going to do? For example, people now are just demonstrating. We are demonstrating. After demonstrating, what is it? As you have said, aftermath. Sindio? Aftermath. What are we going to do? Or we are just going to demonstrate to be short. So we must also have that calculative mind when we are doing those things. We need to find an alternative. Yes, I think that is what I can say about that. That's the information I have. Yes.
Wow. And now, guys, Mr. Tim Sitweti, a political analyst and of course an activist, says that for us to ensure that whatsoever we get to voice also gets to have an effect by just being actioned by the leaders in charge of Kenya, then there must be, or rather we must have a restructuring, and also we must also have an alternative.
From the heart of innovation to the streets where dreams are built, this is Voice of Siga, and it's hustle time. Every week we bring you real stories, real struggles, and the unstoppable spirit of everyday hustle. Entrepreneurs, creatives, students, traders, and change makers. This is your platform, your voice, your hustle. Tune in as we spotlight rising talent, dive deep into the world of side gigs, street business, digital grind, and what it really takes to make it in today's world. Don't miss Hustle Time Show, airing on every Mondays and Wednesdays, exclusively on Voice of Siga, where hustle meets hope. Voice of Siga, it's hustle time.
Come back to our second part of our discussion, whereby we shall be engaging our guests just to understand how far is Kenya as opposed to other countries in terms of politics. Is Kenyan politics higher to that of Uganda, to that of Tanzania, and maybe to other countries in the third world, in the second world, and also in the first world? My name is Msoka Charles, and our guest goes by the name Tim Sitweti. Forget not to like, subscribe. This is Voice of Siga. And again, you can visit his handles, but he's gonna tell us after we end the discussion. But for now, our guest tell us, Kenya is among very many countries that are rich. But now, politically, where are we? Are we on the right track? Are we going haywire? Or our politics are just moderate?
You see, personally, I know that in any area, when you want to make a decision, political organization or political stability actually is the key. So once you make political your arrangement right, it really affects other sectors directly. We as a country, as Kenya, as you have rightly placed it, that we are among the richest country in Africa. What are we doing politically to remain there or to actually use our resources well? And as I told you earlier, the elephant or this like difficulties we are facing, it is actually brought by corruption. And this corruption are brought by what? Leaders, and even leaders are the mirror of they say leaders are the mirror of the society.
Yeah.
Sindio? So what are we going to do because when a leader goes there and actually engage in corruption, for example, we as growing young people, we see our leaders who are elder of us actually engaging in corruption, actually engaging in embezzlement of our funds. So I'm growing and I'm feeling like this corruption issue is just normal. That's the problem. I'm growing and I feel like to be rich, you must engage in corruption. To be rich, you must do corruption. So the leadership that is current, or the leadership, must ensure that they're actually dealing with this corruption, and actually they're actually showing there's that goodwill of ensuring that they end corruption. So if there's that goodwill, again, I'm very sure corruption shall end. But if we try to start, for example, using these institutions that have been charged with the responsibilities of dealing with the corruption to manage politics again, that is the wrong way. Kenya is the ticket of many countries in this country as far as the economy is concerned. You realize that we have the largest embassy in this country.
Yeah.
From America. It shows you that Kenya actually, it is perceived to be an economic hub as far as those issues is concerned.
And I'll talk about the protests, because currently people are tweeting that Kenya is protesting more than Tanzania, more than Uganda, more than Somalia. And are we to be gauged by the protests so that people can say Kenya is not safe? It is not a safe place for us to go. Kenya is not a country that we can copy, or rather it cannot serve as a good example for us. So are the protests a way of gauging a country? And also, shall we blame the police for the brutality they get to cause in the protests, or shall we blame the citizens who go to the street and again they get to anger the police, who again they are forced to use now their guns to shoot?
Yeah, thank you for that question. One is that you see, we are living in a democratic space. This country, it is a democratic state, and some things like demonstration. When you read Article 49 of the Constitution, it actually allows those people to demonstrate, to picket. Okay. So again, we have those. The same Constitution, it talks about the protection of properties of other people.
Yeah.
The same Constitution has the body called police service, or the police officers that are actually charged with responsibility of enforcing law.
Yeah.
So these people or these bodies actually, they all have rights within their Constitution. But the issue is, they say, where your rights end, that's where mine starts. Okay. For example, if I'm demonstrating, I'm within my rights. Okay. Constitutionally, I'm within my right demonstrating, and the police is also within his rights, protecting you. He has to protect you. Okay. They protect you when you are demonstrating.
But you know.
So let me finish.
Okay.
Let's go slowly. So when they are demonstrating, for example, they are demonstrating, then as I've told you, where my rights end, just where you are, that's where you are starts. For example, I'm demonstrating, I'm within my rights. When I go beyond, start actually destroying other people's property, that's where now your right starts. And I am not allowed constitutionally to actually destroy your property, because it is within your right, that the right to own property. So that is actually what somehow that forces the law enforcers maybe to use forces. But again, personally, if I go, because I've engaged in this demonstration somehow, if I go for demonstration personally, I'll demonstrate. I'll just make noise, tell what I feel is bad, actually express what I feel is good for this country. Then, I continue. I can actually come back to do what actually I normally do every day. But you see, in this country, those people we call thugs and crooks. So when they see an opportunity, people demonstrating, they use that opportunity maybe to actually loot and steal other people's property. That's where now we are actually getting difficult to handle the situation. That's why you find that police are also angered because they feel like they need to protect also property of other. They need to protect demonstrating. So they are finding themselves in between the rocks.
And why is it that many citizens believe that police officers are their enemies when the police officers are only but enforcing the law? Why?
You know, I told you about 2010 constitution. We changed from police force to police service. Now we are having a police service. So police force, during those days before 2010, we had what we call a police force. That's why police were very brutal. Police at that time were very brutal. They will actually do anything. But we changed it to be a police service. They need to provide service, not to force, not to actually be brutal. So the enmity actually came where there's the lack of knowledge. You know, there must be some information.
So who lacks the knowledge, the police or the citizens?
Just like lack of clarity between them. You see, lack of clarity between them. Because me, I expect a police officer to protect me. Okay? Police officer, I'm not a police officer. I don't know how they reason. But if they have actually, if they ever went to class to study, that you as a police officer, you must ensure that you protect citizen. But somehow again there is an issue of mental, this depression and all that.
Yeah.
So those things also participate in people actually engaging in those some evil things of actually. The other day you saw a police just in a short range, just shooting a citizen, because yani like I felt like, what is this? In fact, I posted on my social media. I said these guys are fool, because how can you just go and shoot a masked vendor in a short range? I was shocked by that.
So bad.
Very so bad. That's so bad.
Okay, maybe as we get to finalize, can you tell us what do you think could be the right measures for the Kenyan government to cater for in ensuring that the rights of the citizens are catered for, and again, the rights of any other foreigners are catered for? Because there is, at one time, President William Ruto said that if you don't follow what is to be followed in Kenya, there are only three things. You remember the statements. I cannot go to quote them, but he said so. So, how do we ensure that the rights of Kenyans are catered for?
It's all about following the point of reference, what we call constitution, and staying guided with those rules of law. Saying, for example, I am supposed to be here at this time, just to be disciplined as a Kenyan, and all those people like officers in different departments, they must also follow the right. What constitution says, actually what constitution speaks about their roles in the society.
And do we need to have political activists when the government is working?
Our government is led by young human beings, and activism are also human beings. So I feel like activism, it is not like something very bad. It is just an opportunity. It is an opportunity for you to demonstrate and speak speak correct information, or actually express what is not being actually considered or contemplated by the government. Advocate for them, and actually speak for those things that you feel is not going in the right direction from the government. This government, somehow we have officers in the government who actually engage in things which is not good. So as activists, we actually demonstrate, actually speak out to ensure that actually those things are being done in the right way. Yes.
Okay, that is very good of you.
Yes.
And again, we shall have another sitting like this. We get to talk of matters affecting Kenya intensively. But for now, thank you for your time.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here, by the way, and I really appreciate your team. You have a very a very professional team.
Wow.
And I wish you well. I wish you a rapid progress in this work you're doing. You know, information is very important.
Vital.
Yeah, and you giving the updates every time, updating the society, and giving people like us an opportunity to air out what is there. It is very crucial, and I wish you well.
It is also an honor to host you.
Thank you very much. By there and me, I'm always there. You can come anytime. I come, we discuss issues touching the well-being of our Kenyans and any issues around leadership. We can actually try to see how we can do it.
We shall do it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again.
I really appreciate.
My oh my. This is Mr. Tim Sitweti, a humble man, but again, a very knowledgeable man. We just had the conversation. It was flowing, sweet, and again, melodious to you who is watching us. Guys, what an honor to have you again watching us. Thank you for your time. But before we get to finish, he just forgot to tell us his social media handles. Tell us your social media handles.
Okay, thank you very much. My social media handle, I do Facebook, I do TikTok, and even WhatsApp. Instagram, I'm trying there, but when you go on Facebook, I'm called Mr. Sitweti. Alafu TikTok naitwa Sitweti. I think Instagram Mr. Sitweti, and Tim Wanyonyi. Thank you very much.
And this is Voice of Siga Live. Have a nice time.